the one, the only, Ben Sion.
Welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, Iyun Sion. Today we're finishing the sixth parak, Mishnah Yoma parak Vav, Mishnah Zayin and Ched. Mishnah Zayin is a similar machlokas to machlokas and Mishnah Vav. Mishnah Vav and machlokas, when does the person, the Ish Iti, who accompanies Shir Lazaza, when does it begun become Tameh? According to the Tanakh, becomes Tameh once he leaves Yerushalayim. According to Reb Shimon, only once he pushes the seer off the cliff. And Mishnah Zayin, when he comes and he burns the remainders of the par and the sawyer that were offered lifnai v'lifnim, he burns them. The person who burns them, his begun become tamei. When? According to Tanakh, when he leaves the chomas azara, when he leaves the azara, and according to Reb Shimon, no, when you actually most of the flesh is actually burned in the fire. Similar machlokas. So what is the machlokas based on? I believe the machlokas is as follows: that we learned earlier that when the Kohen Gadol shechs the par and he shechs the sawyer, he doesn't shecht completely. He does rov of shtei simon, which is considered a valid shchita. I mentioned many times he does not, even though it's a tchila shchita, it's not the gemara shchita. The gemara shchita is valid by anyone, a zar, and if someone else finishes for him. And the reason the Torah is makel and says don't do the gemara shchita over there, normally the Kohen Gadol should be doing the gemara shchita, but it's part of the avoda. Right. For example, if you still have wrong thoughts at that time, it could be that it passes it afterwards. It's still part of the shechita. There's still a din of pigul and things like that. The reason is because we don't want to be made. We want to be makel. The tircha of the Kohen Gadol, all the avodos Yom Kippur only are good with him. We want to make it easier for him. Tircha the tzibura, tircha the Kohen Gadol, make it easier for him. He has a lot of work to do, so we don't make him do the full shechita, only part of the shechita. And here also, right, when is it considered that the mitzvah of the Sir Lazazal is done? So that defines when the begun become tamei. So according to Tanakh, once it goes out of Yerushalayim, basically the mitzvah is done. Even though, not that it's done, it's the tchilas mitzvah. The tchilas mitzvah is the Yerushalayim. Obviously the gemar mitzvah is throwing it off the cliff. And similarly, to take the par and the sar out of the azara, that's the tchilas mitzvah. The sof mitzvah is considered to be when he's metamed the begadim, when he burns the par b'sar in the fire. So Rosh Hashanah says you go after the gemar, and we paskin know that we're making on the Kohen Gadol, and the tchilas avodah is good enough. Now the only problem is that in Mishnah Ches, it's actually the opposite, because Rabbi Yehuda says, how long does the Kohen Gadol have to wait before he starts doing the next avodah? So Rabbi Yehuda says once he gets to the first station outside Yerushalayim, and according to the Tanakhama, it actually has to be that it gets to the actual cliff, actually thrown off the cliff. That's only when the Kohen Gadol will start the next avoda. So, what's going on over here? Shouldn't we say that we're makel over here? We don't pass on like Rabbi Yehuda. He was the one that says to get to the first station. We should say Nasas mitzvah. So even though it's a tchilas mitzvah, obviously the gemara, the mitzvah is throwing it off the cliff. It says v'shilach asol lemidbar, lemidbar. The part of the mitzvah is the shlichus of the azazel to the sir azazel to the midbar, and the gemara is when it goes off the cliff. That's the main part, right? The gemara shchita, the gemara, all the gemara sreifa, all these things were makel. We assume that the tchila is enough. So I think the idea is that part of the sir azazel, it actually actually lightens the burden on the Kohen Gadol when the gemar happens. Specifically by the Sir Azazel, it's a breather, right? Anyone knows who plays sports, right? You go to the bench, you rest. You need a rest in the middle. No one plays 48 minutes in a basketball game. You need to rest. It used to be at higher endurance they played 48 minutes. Michael Jordan in some games probably played 48 minutes. But nowadays it's well documented in NBA players rest, and you have an 8-man rotation. The point is that you need a rest, and this function as a rest. Even though normally the tchilas avoda is considered the avoda, right? In terms of tunas begadim, tchilas avoda is the avoda on Yom Kippur, and it's an interesting din because the Torah basically says, even the gemara, Mishnah Sherman talks about the mitzvah is called on the gomer, right? Ein mitzvah nikras ala misha gomra, because of tircha of the Kohen Gadol, we have a different set of halachas. Right, tircha is not just din derabanan, were makel. It's a din d'oraisa to say that the earlier something happens, that's when it's considered, the mitzvah is considered done. The reason that we pass on the Rabbanan, that he gets to wait till the next avoda, until it's pushed off the cliff, is because you want to give him a little rest. It's actually a rest. It's actually a cool the other way, that it should wait to him. In terms of the actual, when the avoda actually happened, right? The Torah shifted the din of avoda happening, not the Gemara avoda, the Tchilas avoda. That's why Tumas Begadim is when it gets to the midbar. Tumas Begadim is when they take the animal outside the Chumash Zar to burn it. Because really, the avoda, the Tchilas avoda, normally Gemara avoda is the important one, and Yom Kippur Tchilas avoda is on. However, in Mishnah Ches, when it comes to a rest, so we say wait a little bit till it's pushed off the cliff, so you can have a rest, and that worked in favor of the Kohen Gadol. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you on the next one.